Hi, welcome back once again. My name is Vaishali, and having learnt a few things, or quite a few things, from and through human interactions, and having pursued my master's in business administration and clinical psychology, I today would like to talk about recollection or remembering. So, of course, these two are not one and the same things. They are not the same words, they don't have the same meanings. And yet, to a certain degree, to a certain extent, being able to recall or being able to recollect is about memory association, or not being able to do it to at least a certain degree is about memory disassociation. So, in that framework and in that breadth, in my understanding, given the context, the content can be associated. The words can have associated meanings, to some degree explicit and to another degree implicit. So, given the example of the Indian movie Gajni, which had featured Amir Khan and Asan as its main lead, alongside a few characters that equally played an important role, that equally contributed in the making of the narrative of the movie Gajni. Because without the other characters in the movie, the narrative of the movie could not have been played, could not have been scripted, could not have been taken forward. The story could not have been written. And so is it with all of our stories, all of our experiential reality. That in a way kind of gives us the backdrop that formats our personality, personal reality. And so was the case with this main character that was played by Amir Khan. Here was this very successful, super successful businessman, a very responsible businessman, who happens to fall in love with a very vivacious, with a very spontaneous, with a very lively character played by Asan. And it is only through some twists and turns in the story where Asan's character or Amir Khan's love interest gets killed, gets murdered. And when he gets attacked, in a way wherein his head is attacked or his head is smashed by a rod, which causes certain brain injury, that he loses his memory, that he develops. And after this incident, after him being attacked and after him being injured, he keeps losing his memory in bits and pieces. And of course, he keeps recollecting them as well. But it only happens when he is put in certain circumstances wherein he is forced to recollect whatever he keeps forgetting, whatever he's forgotten. Now, I'd like to make it a little more specific here. Whatever he thinks or we think that his brain has forgotten. Because had it been completely forgotten, he would have never remembered that. He would have never remembered certain incidences which he does as the movie progresses. Now, after the incident wherein he is attacked and he's been injured, throughout the movie it is shown that he keeps scribbling or he keeps writing on his body. He keeps writing across his arms. There are things that are written on his neck, on his chest, on his waist, on his stomach. And it is all very explicitly shown in the movie. There are things that he's plastered on his wall to be able to recall some people, certain incidences, and his relationship to them, his association with them. And in a way, through this depiction, it is telling us that many a times we think that we have forgotten certain things or that people forget certain things. But the body is always, the nervous system is always keeping a score of everything that we think we remember and that we think we might have forgotten. And in a way, through these scenes, wherein he is tattooed or written things on his body, on his arms, on his chest, on his waist, on his neck, on his back, on his walls, which is telling us that our body keeps the score of every memory, of every emotion, of every thought that we think we remember and that we think we do not remember or recollect and recollect. It keeps a collection of everything that happens in our life, whether we explicitly remember it or not, but the body implicitly remembers it. And through another example and through another story, Tare Zameen Par, wherein this child has a learning disability of a certain kind, his memory or the collection of his own story, his own narrative, his own history is revealed through his drawing book. The emotional history, the thought process of that child is revealed through the drawing book, in which even the parents and most other people have forgotten as to what his personal narrative was about, has been about, what shaped him into the person that he became, what were the contributing factors that went into making him and into making his story and his personality, his experiential personal reality. And though many a times throughout the narrative of the story, he might not have been completely able to express, to be completely able to verbalize, to be completely able to say and narrate his own version, his own personal story, his own personal history, given his association and his dissociation with his family members, with his friends and with his classmates, with his teachers. His drawing book revealed it all. And in a way it was the other supporting character, it was another important character, his teacher, that brought out his personal narrative forward, that brought out his expression or his story forward. And so in a way, many a times we might not be able to express all of this verbally, explicitly, and yet our body remembers everything. Our body expresses everything, for it's a collection of everything that we think we might have heard and that we think we may not have heard or missed out on, that we think we had paid attention to and that we think and assume we've not paid attention to, that we think we must have seen and that we think we might have missed out or not paid attention to. But our stories are captured within our bodies. And unless we can appreciate and recognize the intelligence of this body, it will be very difficult to consciously and explicitly remember everything that's happened to us, within us, for us, from us. And if many a times we are not even consciously aware, explicitly aware of all of the implicits that this body collects, it's quite difficult to tap into the intelligence of the body, and thereby at times even quite difficult to experience complete joy and bonding and connection, and in the same breath also quite difficult to heal ourselves if we do not pay attention to the implicit collection explicitly, if we do not try and remember deliberately and consciously. Let's try and give that a little thought. Let's try and do that for ourselves. Let's try and tap into the intelligence of our bodies that collects so much of ourselves, so much of our stories that we barely even remember it. Or at least most of it that we don't remember. And at times it is that bleeds and leaks onto the others. So let's try and tap into the intelligence of our bodies. And I will see you once again the next week. Till then, stay tuned in. And guys, if you do like the contextual content of these videos, please do like, share and subscribe.